Hearing that your caseload has dropped can be frustrating. The transaction report is a comprehensive look at your caseload for the past year or even for the past several years. Looking at the history of your caseload can help with planning for the future. You run the transaction report from the Operations Management module. Select the Outputs menu, then select Clinic Non-Caseload. Note that the transaction report is different than the transaction register, which is an intake report. The only mandatory selection criteria are the month and year. The report will show that month plus the previous 11 months. It's optional to run it for one clinic site or to leave clinic blank and run it for the whole agency. This is what the report looks like when it is run and printed. The data is grouped in sections. Each of those sections has more detail underneath. You can see here in close-up new enrollments, reinstates, reactivates, recertifications, changes, and terminations. Within each section, there are rows for pregnant women, other women, children, and infants, then the total for those rows. In some sections after the total, it also gives the numbers for migrants or transfers into state. The columns going down are for each month. The last month shown is the date you chose when you ran the report. So if you had said to run the report for April 2018, the last month would be April 2018. The last column is the total for the last 12 months. When should you run the report? The report can be run at any time, but it's recommended that you run the report on the 2nd of every month when you run the other caseload reports. Although there are many ways you might analyze the data in this report, this video will focus on 3 areas: comparing month-to-month changes, comparing yearly trends, and using the trends to plan your appointment schedule. First, let's talk about comparing month-to-month changes. Looking at changes in the number of new enrollments can be helpful. Here's a close-up of the number of pregnant women enrolled in this clinic. In May through October, the enrollment number stayed steady at about 40 new pregnant women each month. But in November through March, the number of new pregnant women dropped to about 30 women per month. This could be a key finding for caseload management. Can the clinic identify what caused the drop and fix it? Let's look next at a close-up of the termination section. You can see that in January 2018, there was about double the number of terminations as normal. Again, identifying the cause of this loss of participants could dramatically help improve caseload numbers. Next, let's look at yearly trends. Looking at your transaction report for several of the past years can help you see general trends of caseload going up and down that happen and help you plan for them. 2 of the most common trends we see are: first, all enrollments and recertifications may drop in February and November because generally those months have fewer clinic days. And second, a WIC clinic in a college town may always have fewer enrollments in June and more in August and September. Now let's look at how you might use the report to help plan your appointment schedule. The report gives you specific numbers of how many people you saw in each category for each month, which you can then use to make sure you have enough appointment slots. You can see how many new enrollment appointments you might need, and if you look at the reinstates and recertifications together, it gives you a general idea of how many recertification appointments you might need. If you look at the number of children who are in the changes section, it will give you an idea of how many mid-cert or individual appointments you might need for children. Using this report is optional, and it's most useful for staff experienced with caseload management. If you do need help learning to use it for your agency, you can call your nutrition consultant for help. And, as always, if you have questions about Twist, you can call App Support for help at 1-866-865-2953.